Intimate betrayal. The ideological serpent. What if the serpent doesn't slither through the garden, but sleeps beside you? This is the last video I will make of this kind. I hate preaching and prefer to make people think and come to their own conclusions. Do with the concepts what you will. Have you ever thought about who you share a bed with? There's a chilling cautionary tale in history of a genocide where no one was spared. Even wives, children, mothers, fathers, the closest relatives were brutally assaulted. Rwanda's fracture. According to the United Nations interview with Henriette Nudiguaraba, in April 1994, a call was put out over the radio in Rwanda. What did it say, and how did you feel? It was terrifying. A lot of people think the killing started in April, but beginning in the 1990s, the government put it out there, in the media, newspapers, and radio, encouraging and preaching anti-Tutsi propaganda. In 1994, they were encouraging everyone to go to every home, hunt them down, kill kids, kill women. For a long time, the roots of hatred ran very deep in our society. To see the government was behind it, there was no hope that there were going to be any survivors. We keep saying never again, and it keeps happening. The Holocaust, Cambodia, South Sudan. People in the Democratic Republic of the Congo are being killed now as I'm speaking. Something needs to be done. Genocide is preventable. Genocide doesn't happen overnight. It moves in degrees over years, months, and days, and those orchestrating genocide know precisely what they intend. Right now, my adopted country, the United States, is very divided. My message is wake up. There's so much propaganda happening, and people are not paying attention. Nobody is immune to what happened in Rwanda. Genocide can happen anywhere. Do we see the signs? Yes. It was shocking to see such a thing happening in the United States. Harvey Dent's warning. There's a popular movie quote that always rings true. You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become this villain. When it comes to these kinds of ideologies, this statement by Harvey Dent is telling. Dent's line is the tragic arc of the hero who begins with noble intent, but through endurance or compromise, becomes the very thing they once opposed. It's not just about intentions, it's about how time, power, and perception corrode even the purest motives. The tragedy is that even the most principled figures, if they endure long enough, will face the corrosion of public perception, ideological fracture, and the weaponization of their legacy. So it basically mirrors, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and the very corruption of idealism over generations, when the original intent is lost and power is the new payoff. Like Harvey Dent says, the desire for power can corrupt the greatest heroes. So what happens when we forsake all others for power? When we replace individual relationships with a shared identity? When we sacrifice our humanity to an ideology that becomes a machine of war, one that demands we sacrifice even our loved ones to a larger cause? This corruption of idealism isn't confined to politics or war. It seeps into our most private spaces. India's domestic murders. In recent years, there have been stories of men having their flame of life snuffed out after finding out about their wives' infidelity. While there is documented evidence of increasing cases of wives killing husbands in India, with 306 cases documented since 2023, there was a documented surge during March 2025, with over 20 such cases reported that month in Indian media. The most notorious involved wives and their lovers dismembering husbands, like the Meerut case, where a husband was cut into pieces and sealed in a cement drum, exposed by his own 6-year-old daughter. A 2024 study by the International Institute for Population Sciences found that financially independent working women with mobile access were more likely to commit violence against their husbands, as shifting power dynamics led to more clashes. The source can be found on screen. The link is also in the description. So what does this have to do with how the video started? The gender war's possession. Like Harvey Dent says, the desire for power can corrupt the greatest heroes. So what happens when we forsake all others for power? We replace everything with a shared identity? We sacrifice our humanity to an ideology that will later become a machine of war? A machine that will see us sacrifice even our loved ones to an ideology or larger shared identity. The reckoning, the serpent is not always the stranger. Sometimes it's the logic we let in, the ideology that promises liberation but demands sacrifice, starting with those we claim to love most. Well, what is the moral of the story? Why did I even make this video? As seen in the 2024 study, media influence in this case saw an increase in the likelihood for violence, sometimes fatally so when exposed to rhetoric on the internet. So I'll end it here, but I do have a question for you, and please think about it long and hard. Has the validation of our darkest thoughts, finding others who agree with what we once kept hidden, become permission to act on them?